If you're going to take the risk of running advertising online, shouldn't you get the benefits of learning from someone who's in the platforms every second of the day? Welcome to bidpixel.com's Marketing Ear Biscuits, the original podcast dedicated to digital advertising run by two Aussie guys who ride around in kangaroo pouches and drink Fosters and 4X beer.
Good afternoon, Jay Janis. This is Facebook. This isn't just Facebook Ear Biscuits, is it? We changed the name. This is Marketing Ear Biscuits. Congratulations, mate. We have got 2 episodes up on iTunes now. And we've also got 2 episodes on Spotify. We've made it to the big time. Last time I checked on Friday, we had a total of 3 downloads of our 2 podcasts. So that's pretty good. We're going viral, buddy. We're going viral.
Very good. You mean one of our wives.
That's it. I don't think Casey's even watched a second of it, right? Mate, so let's go again. We missed Friday. I was visiting a client and spending some time with family. So let's have a chat today. What we're going to go over today is we talked last week about TikTok and the advertising platform that is emerging from TikTok. We're also going to talk about smaller agencies getting scared and moving away from Facebook advertising. We're going to then discuss a little bit about Q4 and what's going to happen in the lead up to Q4. We're already seeing some issues happening in Facebook Business Manager, but it's all going to be for the greater good of advertising. And lastly today, we're going to talk about the reps that Facebook has and the different levels of rep and how do you know if you've got a good one. So, mate, I'm going to hand over to you for this one. I want you to school me on TikTok advertising.
Cool. So TikTok, one of the really up and comers. So most people probably remember the Vines back in the day, the short 7-second videos that you could jump in. You saw all sorts of crazy stuff from the cat videos to the pranks to Fail Army to whatever it might be. So TikTok is basically that. It's I think come out of China, the rebadged Musical.ly app. So Musical.ly platform, and it's around now. So predominantly at this stage, the teens, early 20s mainly. At the moment, it's sitting at Apple on the iTunes or Apple's App Store at number 1 of the top 3 apps, and it's been at number 1 for quite some time now. So it's getting a lot of traction.
I think I read the other day it's number 1 in 40 different countries of iTunes. So that's quite big, right?
It's massive.
I've been on the platform. I've got to admit I haven't really used it. I've been watching and consuming. And look, it is that teenage 17, 18, 19-year-olds. Everyone's trying to get their 5 seconds of fame and go viral, but there are some really hyper-targeted ads in the middle of it. So tell me about that.
So 500 to 600 million users per month is estimated at the moment. But what's great is because of the way that it's engaged, so the user platform it's really hyper targeted and dialed in probably for more so that specific age demographic, which is great. So as a business, if you're advertising in and your target market is in that demographic, that's really the place to be at the moment, or one of the places to be. It's replaced everything. It's Instagram and moving into TikTok. There's a lot of big players that are heavily bullish on TikTok, and we're seeing a lot of what's his name, Howard, one of the judges from America's Got Talent, I think. Howard.
Never watched it.
Yeah, every time I jump on TikTok, he's there doing some silly dance or whatever, or he's all over it. But it's definitely a platform to watch at the moment. So ads platform is still in pretty much beta testing. So a lot of work is being done with to get super active and hyper targeting is via influencers on there. So through the use of hashtags, so making competitions or etc. using a hashtag and creating a hashtag that goes viral. Is another big way of engaging on TikTok at the moment.
Can I just interrupt? One of the things I've noticed with the content that I'm seeing is they're doing a really good job of geo-targeting. I don't see a lot of US people posting. Like my feed is full of Aussies, right? Aussie 17-year-olds doing whatever they need to do to go viral. And I don't know if it's, however their organic geo-targeting works, just got me as an Australian and showing me the content that's closer to me. So it's actually really interesting that it's worked that way. And seeing some of the viral hashtags starting to come out already, like these kids and these users are using certain hashtags just to get found. It's like 5 years ago in Instagram using hashtag love when you wanted everyone to see it, or follow back or whatever. Like they're starting to get some of the really important hashtags emerging, which these kids are using to try and go viral, which is cool.
Yeah, and the fact that it's fully immersive, like it's full screen. You're swiping up to go to the next video. When you're on there, you have full. You're not fighting for space, and you're not fighting for attention. The one post to the next as you are in other platforms. It's just all there.
No, very cool. So from what I can see, advertising's free to sign up. Obviously, you're going to want to have some pretty cool strategy built around that. Otherwise, you're just not going to get found. You can adjust your budgets whenever you want to. You can start and stop campaigns. Let's find out how the algorithm works with that. Is it beneficial to start and stop? Is it beneficial to leave stuff going? And then you can choose different optimization models. So you can go for a cost per click. You can go for a cost per 1,000. And yeah, it looks like they're evolving the platform. So that's a pretty cool little thing. We're going to be investing into it shortly. First client of ours will be a driving school that we've got about to come on board. They really want to target that demographic and make sure they're getting ads in front of those teenagers who are looking to drive and get their license and do some testing. So, mate, what I wanted to talk about next with you is the chatter that's going on. We're in, obviously the two of us are in a ton of Facebook groups all about Facebook advertising agencies and Facebook marketers. And there seems like a lot of people are getting scared right now. 6 months ago, it seems like everyone and their dog wanted to become a Facebook advertising agency, and literally freelancers popped up overnight. Now, it looks like a lot of them are starting to get scared. They're starting to talk Google ads when they've never talked Google ads before. They're starting to talk native ads. What's going on? What's happening with that trend there? Everyone wanted to be us, and now no one wants to be us by the looks of it.
Yeah, as one of those things, I think once you're in, you realise you see the beast that it is one part of the solution, one part of the issue. So if anyone spent more than a day or two in the back end of Facebook, you soon start to realise how much is involved, especially in keeping up to date with the platform. So that's one thing. Another thing is just that focus on how to be across multiple channels. We for the last couple of years we've been really focused on being the best of breed, the best of Facebook, and focusing all of our efforts on that and towards that. And we're also seeing opportunities across other platforms as other agencies are as well. And for us, we're doing that just for our clients. So we want to make sure that we're providing the best service for our clients. And if that means, we analyze the performance on Facebook versus what it could be on Google Ads or versus what it could be on TikTok, and catering our client, the service that we're providing for our client either way.
I think one of the biggest things that I love about how you've built our back-end team is we've got years worth of Facebook advertising expertise now, and they will only ever be Facebook advertisers, right? We've now brought back in the Google Ads team, and we've poached some guys from Google to actually work on that team for us. And if we're looking into Snapchat, which we might not even do now, if we do TikTok, it's always finding the best person we can or training the best person we can, and not chopping and changing. It's not a bright shiny object. We're here to get good results for our clients on whatever platform that we push the ad spend to. So
that's right. Yeah, we want to see a clear path. We want to see I guess longevity in the platform, which is when we've always believed that Facebook has that. Facebook's demonstrated that for year in, year out now. So as is Google Ads. So that we'll see what happens with TikTok and see what happens with some of these other platforms. But as Dave said, we do want to be the best, and I think that's getting the best team and the best people, employ people that are smarter than you.
Look, I haven't.
Always, and that's why I've got a team of people underneath me like you, mate. So some of the rumblings that have been going on in these groups is all about Q4 getting really hard, people not getting results. There's a little bit of CBO layered in on top of that. But essentially, what is the go with Q4? What are we seeing right now? What were we talking about with our team this morning? And what, as a strategy expert for Facebook, what's the next month or so going to outline for us and our clients?
So if you've been on, again, in the back end of Facebook, much in the last week or two, probably now. You might have seen, there's been some big glitches. As I've been onboarding new clients, I'm constantly seeing different interfaces and different business manager layouts and ad account layouts and all this sort of stuff that is slowly being rolled out, as well as some privacy things that I think we mentioned a couple of days ago in another podcast being rolled out. So all of that's in play right now, and we know historically in September each year there's the platform update. I'm expecting that to be the case again. As Facebook don't really tell you any of that until it happens or until you find out. So, but we've definitely noticed on some accounts some delayed attribution or late reporting, but it is also seen coming out in the wash as well, and all come up well. So
yeah, cool. So I don't care if you're our customer or if you're just someone else watching this. Don't get stressed at this time of year when stuff doesn't look right. Like, it usually will come out in the wash. If you're not seeing the results today, chances are you go back in a week's time and the results will be there. The attributions tend to delay out this time of year, right? But it all comes out in the wash. Don't get stressed. Don't turn stuff off. Don't change your strategy 100%. Go for this ride. Know that your cost per thousand is going to get a little bit more expensive as we get into sort of the run up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the run into Thanksgiving in the US, Christmas. Like, it is going to get more and more expensive as we get into Q4, but trust your instinct and run what you've got, and trust Facebook's algorithm. It's going to get a little bit tricky for a little while, but chopping and change is probably going to do more damage. Or is this true and fair for me to say chopping and changing your ad account now will do more damage than trusting in Facebook's algorithm to work?
Yeah, I think it's that delayed reporting. So, which is different to attribution, is reporting is what you're seeing displayed in the ads manager system. So if you're making decisions out of what could possibly be incorrect data, because it might be a day or two behind, you're basing decisions on incorrect data. So I would say let it play out a few days, and not be as reactive or reactive as
well, like, literally do yourself a favor. Don't look at a 24-hour ROAS, right? Like, take a few days to look at the data over a few days and make an informed decision instead of making, like, clutching it like out of thin air. It's got to be the way to do it. Right. Anything else that we need to know with this ride coming into Q4 and Facebook's ad platform? Do we see a change in the algorithm, or do we see a change in the platform in September like we traditionally do?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. F8 Facebook Developer Conference, there were a lot of changes mentioned that are being rolled out over the next 12 months. I'm never really surprised, but what I see, I'll either never surprised or surprised daily. Depends on what's going on and the point of view. But what I do like is that there are these constant changes, and this means that they're always keeping on top and changing and developing and growing as a company, and not remaining stale, which is really good. But I guess going back to what you were saying before about the rising cost in CPMs and coming into Black Friday and Cyber Mondays, that's always been the case. And one thing that's been great is I just look at it, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the Christmas period, it's a feeding frenzy. It might cost more to advertise in that space, but that's because people are buying in those spaces. So, you really got to be in it to win it.
If I can just recommend to anyone, take the time, make sure you're creative and your copywriting is the best in your industry, the best in your marketplace, and make sure your user experience is great. So Facebook will look at your user experience for you and your competitors. Make sure yours is the best, and you'll get the cheapest cost and you'll win the most sales.
Yeah, and if you want to know how to do that, check out last week's podcast on how to check out an ads library.
We'll have to go through and show that CBO article that Facebook sent us a little while ago about the user experience, and just trying to get that information across to people, because that's so deep, but that's good knowledge. All right, mate, let's talk about a random fact, and it's not really a random fact, but let's actually talk about Facebook rep structures as we, an agency, know it. So I'm going to sort of go through the hierarchy and then let's explain it a little bit. So Facebook does have a live chat feature in Business Manager if you know how to find it. You can get access to live chat. You're generally not going to get very good help from there, and you're generally going to get shunted out the door if you don't have any credibility, or if you're coming and asking stupid questions.
It seems to be a tiered chat system.
So Facebook live chat is very much a real thing. You've just got to learn how to find it. Facebook marketing experts. Now, I put it in inverted commas. Facebook marketing experts. What is a marketing expert, and what have we seen them to be?
So, yeah, I don't know where you're going with this exactly. If I go there too soon.
Mate, your opinion, right? The ones that out of the blue contact you and say, I want to give you a 50-minute strategy session or a half-hour strategy session.
Yeah, so Facebook does have a call center, and each of those employees are tasked with contacting X amount of businesses per month and telling them what they need to be doing on their account. I've heard numbers of they're expected to call around 600 businesses per month. So if you break that down to a daily amount of calls they've got to make per day, and if you're getting contacted by one of these people making recommendations on your account, they've probably had no more than 5-10 minutes looking over your account in order to make those suggestions. So, and they also seem to be pretty much a sales call. What's the latest fad? What's the latest thing that that Facebook's doing? Is you need to be doing that, or have you tried doing this? And if there's no in-depth strategy, or if there is an in-depth strategy, they might not even understand that strategy. So that's one one thing. So we've had them contact our clients, and
heck, we get them contact us, right? Like I get them emailing me and ask them if they can help with our strategy for our own ads, and like, have you looked at who we are? Like, no, they haven't. And we entertained it and took a call with one of them about 6 months ago. And the stuff they told us just was so far off the mark, it's not funny. And we know it was directly from the sales playbook of what they're trying to push that month. What's the flavor of what's happening? So nothing against them. They can probably provide value to someone who's starting up with advertising in Facebook.
Absolutely.
But leave our customers alone, right? All right. So let's talk about the next level that we've found in Facebook reps, and that would be a high value rep. So Facebook reps high value. There's about 1 million business pages in the world right now.
Oh, I can't remember the exact numbers. It's it might be in Australia.
Anyway, there's about 6,000 ad accounts that have a high value rep assigned to them, and those reps have about 30 customers they work on.
30 to 60, I think, somewhere around there, depending on the rep. But this team is a lot more, generally speaking, a lot more knowledgeable, and they've also spent a lot more time on the account. So they're, obviously the time frame they have on each account is a lot deeper and a lot longer. So they can provide value. We've had a combination of, a mixture of amazing Facebook reps. I'm not going to shout them out in case we get in trouble for it. But
if you're listening to the one he's referring to, he's got a man crush on you. He likes to talk with you every time.
But we've got a couple that are fantastic, and we've had a couple that have been challenges. So there has sometimes been the sales pitch, and this is what we want to try, and this is what Facebook wants us to try, and and you kind of go from meeting to meeting to meeting with a different rep, and it's the same playbook. But the value is in being able to see through that and actually see, what's coming behind it. Is it just a sales pitch, or is there actual value in there? And I think we get good value, and our clients, generally speaking, get good value from them. So.
Yeah, so I guess the big thing with that, if you get a high value rep, there's only about 6,000 accounts that have it. They've got 30 to 60 clients each. So you get half a day to a day's work out of them a month. They genuinely do come to those calls with you with some ammunition. They're coming, they'll chat to you, they'll ask you what your goals are, what your outcomes are going to be. They'll come back with some research for you. They'll come back with a bit of an implementation plan. They'll come back and give you some advice. Yes, there is a bit of a structure to it. All of the reps tend to come with the same information at the start of each call. They're all pushing the same thing that they need to push, but then they genuinely do listen to your business, right? And the conversations that we've had with them, they do actually care and they want to make a difference.
Yeah.
Look, they have KPIs at the end of the day. They've got to get you spending more money. They've got to get you advertising in the platform more, but they're also compassionate about how they do that. So there's two kinds of advertising in their eyes. You've got your boosted posts or your social engagement posts, which are kind of like a black traffic to them, or a red traffic to them. Sorry, they're not as much interested in that because it's not a conversion tracking ad, but then they've got their conversion campaigns. So one client of ours, what did we take that client from? They were like 80%
33% unoptimized, and then 33% optimized to a 90, I think it was 87% or 93% optimized.
So that client was doing a lot of their own boosted posts. We were working with them to push that back to conversion tracking and actually getting some good stats for them. When we took them on, only 33% of their ads were actually a trackable conversion ad. And now we've got it to 90+%, and we're actually getting fantastic results. Their cost per acquisition's gone from like $60 to $6. So we're like 1/10 of the cost of them doing business now. And we can now scale their advertising back up with a cheaper conversion rate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
getting a lot more bang for their buck.
And so that was a rep that we had that worked with us to convince the client that it was good to go through that process, and it's really working well with that client now. So high value reps can be good. Make sure they've got your interests at heart. All right, let's talk about reps for agencies. It's a fairly new thing. We're a pro marketing or pro agency partner with Facebook. So as an agency level, we've got a rep. How do we work with our rep, and what value does she give us in what we do?
So she's a great, point of contact for us. So any concerns or questions we might have on any of our accounts, we can just contact her directly and just say, look at this, whether that's a permissions error on a page, or a pixel issue, or a question of about the entire Facebook ecosystem. She's who we can go to, and she's out in the fortress of Facebook.
So if you guys watch this and you're an agency, comment below if you've got an agency level rep. Like, it's something that we don't know much about. We don't know how many agencies actually have access to a rep that can talk about any ad account when we want, and directly email. So we don't have to go through live chat. We can just directly email our Facebook rep and get any information that we need. I'm actually really interested about who's got an experience of a rep. Comment below, comment wherever you've been watching or listening to this. I'd love to know your experience with Facebook ad reps, and we might be able to bring some of that experience back into a conversation later on.
Yeah, absolutely. But and she gives us great insights into what's coming. What's coming on the platform. So we know a few of the rollouts that are going to happen over the next couple of months. That and it's just some insights on that that the general population, I guess, aren't privy to. So it allows us to get prepared, allows us to upskill and give some knowledge and insight to our own clients and to us as an agency as well.
Such a valid point. We find out what's happening before it happens. We're able to arm our customers up and make sure our customers are getting the best results they can. Awesome. I even forgot to say that, so thank you. All right, mate, let's leave it at that for this edition. We've only covered 4 points, but we took our time covering them. We're about 20-25 minutes into it still, so we're on track. Mate, I actually don't have any content down for the next couple of days because I'm out of here. I'm going to the middle of nowhere in the Northern Territory with Paulie. I'm going to try and do an episode with Paul while I'm in Katherine, Northern Territory. We've actually got 2 clients in Katherine, which is the middle of nowhere. You were there last month for a holiday, mate.
Dropped in and saw them, which is fantastic.
So we're out there. I'm going to literally be eating mangoes under the shade of trees, and I'll share more about that maybe while we're out there if I can get phone reception. But so let's try and produce some content. Jay, you're more than welcome to do a podcast while I'm gone if you'd like. Bring on one of our other guys to have a conversation. Hey, fantastic day today. Thank you for your updates. Thank you for telling us about Facebook reps. Thank you for bringing some value to Q4 conversations, and thanks for introducing us to TikTok. I look forward to what you bring to the next conversation.
Yeah.
So, wherever you're watching this or listening to this, if you could like it, if you could comment on it, if you could share it, that would be fantastic. If you're listening to on a podcast, if you could give us a rating, give us a 2-star rating if you think it's worth 2 stars, but we prefer a 5-star rating because it'll help people find us, and comment and let us know what we can bring value to. How can we have conversations with you that matter? We'd love to hear your feedback. Perfect, guys. Bless your heaps. Jay, thanks very much. We'll do it again soon.
Cheers.